No, correct. What's a good idea? Just quite Tony. I have time to pick flowers, said Red Riding Hood. She looked around and saw many lovely white flowers. So she walked under the trees and picked the flowers. Each time she picked one, I always saw now a pretty flower further. She went deeper and deeper into the wood. At the same time, she listened to the birds in the trees, and they sang the sweet bird. But the wolf went straight to the grandmother's house. When he reached the house, he knocked at the door. Tock, tock. Who is there? Asked the grandmother in a weak voice. With Red Riding Hood, said the wolf, and he tried to make his gruff voice and soft. I have brought you some a cake and a piece of fresh butter. Leave for large walking, said the grandmother. I am too weak to get up. The wolf leaped to the lunch and walked into the house. The old lady was lying in bed. The wolf went straight up to the bed and swallowed her up. Then he put on a white dress and naked, got into the grandmother's bed and drew the curtains. When Red Riding Hood gathered when a flower she put him, she hurried on to her grandmother's house. She was very surprised, and she got to the house and found Don looking. And when she entered the room, everything seemed so strange. She felt quite frightened, but she went bold. Good morning, grandmother, she cried, but she would see no answer. Then she went up to the bed and drew the curtains back. There lay her grandmother, but she had hood and naked over her face, and she looked very strange. Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have, said Red Riding Hood. The better to hear with, my dear, said the wolf. Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have. The better to see you with, my dear. Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have. The better to hang you with, my dear. Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have. The better to eat you with, my dear. The faithful, the working wolf jumped into bed, and his father called to Red Riding Hood. Then, after such a good meal, they went back to bed for a rest. Soon he was asleep and snoring quite well. Later on, a hunter went past the house and heard the wolf's dense nose. Of course, before was grandmother. How like a old lady snoring before. I hope she's not well. I'll just open the door and see she's all right. So he went into the house and saw the wolf asleep old lady's bed. I know who you are, said the hunter. You've done bad things to yours. Well, you never had a chance to kill a wolf. He raised his gun to shoot. Very hard banged him I hold right behind stood outside. So he cut a knife and carefully cut an animal as lay asleep. The little girl jumped in and cried, "Oh, how frightened I was! You're so dark inside the wolf." Next, behold, grandmother came, alive with very weak at the hard village. They were quite unhappy now. The donkey walks with her. The grandmother ate all the good things that Red Riding Hood brought, and she summoned Grindstone. As for Red Riding Hood, she said always to follow her mother's advice.